Yo, what's poppin', guys? You got your boy Nandri here. Welcome to another video. So for this video, I'm gonna be showing you guys my PDK deck. So there will of course be gameplay videos, just because, as you know, like the first part of this will always be the deck discussion video, and the second part will be gameplay. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the deck list. So as you can see, I've been playing around with a lot of different dragon lists. So this is the one I'm currently using on ladder right now. This one is great. I absolutely love this. So I'll go ahead and talk about each of the cards, because there's a lot of different cards I want to talk about that are all very, very important. 2 Blazing Breath, like use this as removal. You can play 2 here as opposed to 3 and say Ramp Dragon, just because like you're playing PDK, your creatures double as Blazing Breath basically, and you're playing a lot more creatures than ordinarily. So yeah, you just need 2 of them here. 2 Dragon Horde. Dragon Horde is amazing. Like the second I saw this card, I was like, cool. Like this card is gonna be great, and it is. Like it has not disappointed, and I love it. Like it's a spell. It also doubles as a creature. This is important. The nice thing about it is that like it lets you is that gives you something to do. Like if you say brick, you can go ahead and like play this. It also gives you extra fuel for your PDK, because the PDK is a delicate balancing act of being able to play out like regular creatures or like contest the board, and then holding some creatures back. So this way when you get the PDK, you can go buck wild, blow up their board, be annoying, win the game. This card's great because this card, you're gonna want to play it for the 7 mana cost if possible, but you know, in a pinch, you might have to play one for like 1 or something like that. The Maelstrom Dragon that you get is also very good. If you don't know what Maelstrom Dragon is, it's a 2/1 with Storm if you're in Overflow, so this gives you extra reach if you need it, and that's great. One Staircase Paradise. I like it because like you can play other things in place with this, but I like it specifically because I don't own all the cards for the set yet. I'm kind of close, but not quite close. I like it because in a top deck situation, this card's great. You'll never really feel bad about like playing this for 5. It's also really good if you play it out before like say if you play it out on curve. That's great too, because you don't really care that much about how much damage you take early, because you do have healing, you do have some defensive backbone in this deck, and that's great. It also gives you extra gas if you need it for your PDK, because again, balancing act, PDK, gas. 3 Summoner. Summoner's pretty corn dragon, so I won't really talk about this too much. Like the other nice thing is that like it gives you more fuel for PDK, so that's also good. You know, doubling down on your effects and turning utility creatures into something that can also do more than one thing is great. Nice roll compression. 3 Matilda. Again, Matilda's the same thing. Matilda is actually what helps you get to 7 in the first place, because like Matilda is alright. So on play, it gives you a +1. Then it actually bottoms out to being a +0 overall, because like what you'll do is you'll play it on 2 to kill their 2-drop with a combination of the Fireless that you get, because Fireless just pings a creature. Yep. And then like, but it's also nice because with PDK, you can double down and have this creature like get you 2 procs with PDK if you have enough mana to cast it, which is great. 3 Aiela Dragon Sword. To be quite honest with you, after having played some with the deck, you do not need 3 Aiela Dragon Sword. You can actually just make do with 2. The reason being is that like PDK, like yes, you do want ramp. However, with Aiela Dragon Sword, because it's tied to an Evo, you will not be Evoing this all the time. You will actually be using Evos on Sybil, Zernitra, and PDK herself. Like so as a result, like if you don't have an Evo for it, like this card feels bad. Like, and most times you're not gonna have the Evo. They're not gonna have that Evo for it. But obviously, you do still want to play some, just this way. Like in the event where you do actually want this and can actually Evo, yeah, you have that option to do so. But you do not need 3. 3 Oracle, again, ramp, cycles a card in the late game. Great card. Don't leave home without it. So 3 Salamander. Again, this is your way to fight back onto the board. If you for some reason lose the board, you can go ahead and just Salamander it up, full clear the board. It's very, very nice with PDK, just because like it helps simplify the board state before the PDK turns this way. You can get your winning strat of oh, I make PDK, I go ahead and I just and blow up board remains of your board, I win the game. 3 Scyther. Scyther is a bro or a girl, or I guess a girl. She helps you punch through big things, big answers, and is at like a low tempo cost. The other thing that's nice is that like she also synergizes with PDK. That's nice, just because it makes you do some like fancier plays in the mid game, which is kind of cool. 2 Dragon Aficionado. So you might notice that I've actually replaced Aqua Nerd with this card. The reason being is that this card actually hits for slightly harder, I think, than the Aqua Nerd. Just because the base body's a 2/1, so it's already trades into 2/2s for free. And then the secondary body is a 1/1 that also trades up into 2/2s as well because of its last word effect, which is deal 1 damage to a random enemy follower, and that's great. Great card. It also helps you get your double activated PDK on 7, which we'll be talking about shortly. So PDK, the girl, the myth, the legend, amazing. Single-handedly is what like makes this deck work. So I know a lot of people like thought after PDK got not 1 but 2 nerfs in the same patch last expansion that PDK was gonna be bad. PDK is not bad. PDK is amazing. The reason being is that like PDK, it's one of those decks that like it will always be viable. I think it will always be viable in a metagame in which you have a tertiary threat as well. Sorry, as which you have a secondary and tertiary threats to go with this. And currently that check mark is certainly crossed off. So the way you're gonna want to use this is you're gonna either want to play this on 7. So you're only going to play this on 7 if you have like if you have like aficionado going or something like that. Otherwise, you're gonna want to play this on 8 mana. The idea is that you want to get it off 2 procs with PDK, and then possibly, if you're able to, also pre-evolve the PDK as well. At 5 HP, PDK is actually disturbingly hard to kill, and it usually means they can just keep popping off your creatures. All of your creatures usually have some form of effect when they enter play, with the exception of aiela. And that's good, just because like you can systematically just blow up your opponent's board, do what you need to do, and just like if they can't come back on board, they aren't going to win, and the PDK just helps you do that. Now, the other thing I like about this is because like with the advent of Zernitra, like it makes playing PDK even easier, just because again it crosses off that check mark of when paired with some really annoying creature that tends to drain all of your resources that would be used to kill the PDK. Next one is Sybil. Again, Sybil, staple dragon. Like even though it got nerfed, you'll still probably play this card for the foreseeable future until like eventually rotates out. Just because it's very good at what it does. Bluest water, you get your ramp, you get the heal, things like that. Great card. Fervor, again, same thing. There's not much to say about this that I haven't already said about like Sybil and this card in the past. So still play this card. Draws you 2 cards. You play a lot of cards as PDK, so having that nice refill that also heals you up in the process in order to kind of like offset the tempo loss. Great, amazing. All right, now for the big one, Zernitra. So Zernitra's Dragon Flame. So a lot, and I mean a lot of people like underestimated this card. Thankfully, I was not one of them. Feels great, man. All right, so this card to me like is the dragon version of Ektar. So one thing that they should immediately notice is that, like, because I know a lot of you are gonna be like, well, this isn't Ektar because Ektar can do face damage or something like that. That's not the point. The point is that like it has similar functionality to that of Ektar, like almost directly. So in Ektar play, we're gonna ignore the face damage part, because the face damage part is only relevant if you have a board, but this card is still the same thing anyway. So for 7 mana and 2 shadows, you get a 5/6 and 2 2/2s that'll technically be 4 2s for the turn. So that comes out to being a 9/10 in stats, and then also a 13/10 in stats if you want to count the whole being a 4/2 thing. Whereas Zernitra, you get a 2/3. You get a 4/4 because again her proc will in fact work on the Hellflame dragons you get. Then if you evolve it, you get another 4/4, so you get a 2/3, a 4/4, and a 4/4. So you get 10-11 worth of stats. Would you look at that? So it actually comes out to being 1 stat point bigger. However, yes, you will in fact need an Evo. However, that doesn't matter because, as I said, Dragon is one of those classes that usually doesn't care about its Evos that much and can kind of give it to whatever it wants. And this is one such card that it will be fine evoing. Now, the difference between this card and something like Angelphis is that like this card is not a great evo, because this card will help you contest the board immediately. Like from after like the 20 or 30 games that I played with this deck, like I have not once after playing this card lost that game. Like if I myself didn't misplay at some point after the fact. Like this card is just great. Like if you've been playing since like TOTG, you'll know that the words like Koshinsei are probably among the most triggering words you've ever heard. Well, this is gonna be like that. This card is great. It just helps you come onto the board, and as you'll see in the videos, it's absolutely like fearsome to deal with. Just because like it comes out, if your opponent can't deal with it, even if your opponent can deal with it, they most likely will not have answers for PDK, so PDK can just come in, do the work it's gotta do. And these two cards in tandem usually kind of solo most opponents. To Bahamut, so Bahamut is one of those cards that I really like in Dragon, just because the scariest Bahamut is Bahamut that you did not see coming, and this holds true in PDK. Most times in PDK, people will not play around Bahamut, and they'll have to commit a lot of things to the board just because the PDK will be systematically blowing up their board so they get forced to commit more and more cards. I drop a Baja, you're something out of cards, you're just something in top deck mode, you don't have an answer to the Baja, and that just means you lose. Baja has gotten a little bit better this expansion, just because DoD as well as Execution, they're both not in the format anymore. One of the biggest solid answers to a Baja would always be a DoD, but when that's not here, the only other option is Fall from Grace, and people aren't really playing Fall from Grace either. So great time for Baja to shine. So if you somehow manage to answer all the other garbage, all the other nonsense that's in this deck, you still have to deal with a Baja. You most likely won't have an answer for that. Boom, you lose. And the last card is Aiela. So I mentioned this earlier, but if you do in fact decide to take my advice and cut out one Aiela, you will play a second Aiela instead. Aiela is great. The nice thing about it is that Aiela, again, plus their nature, there's some really strong synergy there, just because you can cost reduce the Aiela. That's, well, if he's in your hand, of course. You can cost reduce the Aiela so you can come out on say turn 8 if you're lucky, if you drew it that early. And that usually means that with the Zernatia play, you're threatening to deal 14 damage, 14 to 16 damage, maybe even more, and that's gross. That's absolutely disgusting. And it's just, it's a nice finisher card, just because at some point you do need to end the game with some form of storm damage in hand. And I don't really think Stormborn Wings is the way to go. So I think you would definitely rather play Aiela instead. Great card, great effect, 10 out of 10. The deck as a whole is still really good. It was my initial version of the deck too, so I'm actually really surprised that did this well. There are also some other versions of the deck I'll possibly again be talking about if you guys leave enough likes. I guess if you guys leave, I don't know, say 10 likes, boom, I'll go ahead and talk about the other ones I have. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, go and leave a like, go and hit the subscribe button, and let me know what you think about PDK down in the comments below. How do you think it fares in the new meta? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.